So one of the ways I think, I would like to change the world is just better connection, better connectivity on a global scale. It's putting aside all the smaller stuff and just focusing on the bigger things in life. Are we are we united by our ambitions? Are we united by the things that fulfill us? Are we united by the things we do selflessly? So in my ambassador program, which I'm going to be sending out to people for Peripreneurs to become ambassadors, one of the things I'm requesting is people to tell me, what do you do day to day which serves a selfless purpose? What do you do day to day which serves a selfless purpose? So that's one of the feedbacks that I'm going to be looking for. And so I think that's one key thing to creating change. So the idea of selflessness and not always being sort of financially driven. And that's something that I've had to deal with over the last week or so as well. You'd love to join. If anybody wants to join the ambassador program, just comment a 1. I'll watch the replay and then I'll message you personally afterwards. So that's one of the ways I think I would like to sort of implement that kind of thing. And another thing is accountability. So the idea of not doing this thing called life solo, not doing it by yourself. So one of the other things I've implemented into this Peripreneurs Ambassador program is the idea that you will get an accountability partner from somewhere around the world, and that will change every month. You'll have a new one every month. So I will assign you someone. And the reason why I think accountability is so important is because sometimes doubt creeps into our minds. I know it does for me. I constantly need reminders of how good I am, or where I could achieve, what I could achieve, what my goals are. Because you can get a lot of adrenaline, and then that can fade away, and then the cloud of doubt creeps in. And so I think accountability is key. So just off the top of my head, because literally this is an unplanned scope, so accountability, I would say, connectivity, the idea of doing things selflessly and not just being financially motivated is key for me as well. And so these are things that I've been focusing on over the last few days, and there's been a lot of changes in my life over the last few days as well. I've had to reconsider the direction we're going in, and there's been talks of things like equity and shares and that kind of thing. I didn't really like it because Peripreneurs for me has always been something which is a passion project, and to make it bureaucratic and to make it corporate is going against what we set out to achieve. And so we're going back to basics, hence this ambassador program, where if anyone wants to join, they'll be the ambassador for their location, and there's a whole heap of things which I can send to anyone who's interested. How much time do I have left? Because I could literally go on forever about changing the world. Here's what I'll end on. Here's a few points I'll end on. The man who owns himself can never lose anything. The man who owns himself can never lose anything. Think about that for a second. It's a little bit of a controversial statement. I get it. But in terms of materials and that kind of thing, or things that I've created, if they went away today, I wouldn't care, because I own myself, because I've got myself, because I own myself. Does that make sense? And the final point that I'm going to end on is take the risk. Every one of you, take the risk of thinking. I know it's time, but here's my last sentence. Take the risk of thinking for yourself. Much more beauty, pleasure, advancements, growth will come to you that way. Take the risk of thinking for yourself. All right? Thanks very much. Everybody who commented a 1, I will get in touch with you. Thanks very much. What made you want to do is, what do you expect to accomplish? In fact, I'm going to stay on. Everybody else who's part of the scope train, go ahead and leave. I don't mind. Honestly, don't mind. Go ahead and leave. There's a few questions I just want to respond to. So, what made me start the Peripreneurs thing or the ambassador program? How do you join? Just comment a 1, and I'll reach out to you personally after this. Tim, you don't have to comment a 1. You're already in. Somebody asked, why did I start this? Why did I start I started Peripreneurs a year ago because simply because I was opportunistic and I saw a gap. So I joined Periscope pretty early on, and I saw that there were a lot of people talking about entrepreneurial sort of stuff, but there was no real group for them to fall under. There was a group for music people, there's a group for people interested in singing, dancing, but there's no group for business people, even though there were a lot of individuals on Periscope who were giving business value. And so I thought of the name Peripreneurs. I thought I better take that before someone else obtains it. And then the idea was pretty simple from the get-go. It was, how can I have this thing going with me doing minimal work? Because I didn't want to commit myself to being on every Sunday. Ambassador thing, why did you start it? Really? Okay, ambassador thing. Why did I start the ambassador thing? And in fact, I've written this down. So Dre Day, I think her name was, great name. Let me read this out for you. So Peripreneurs is a global family of entrepreneurial people who share a desire to prosper and a desire to share prosperity. Like all families, there are many branches which blossom on their own, but ultimately it's the collectiveness and the union which provides strength and growth. We are global. Our network stretches across oceans, and this means our bond and our brawn needs to be tighter than any regular family. So this is why I've created the ambassador thing. We are creating an ambassador team, and we want... I'm not supposed to read that. Okay, so it's to create a tighter, stronger, close-knit bond between people. We already have that, but it's just not been formalized. It's already there, but it's intangible. Oh, you missed it, Dre Day. I just explained why I created the ambassador group. But basically, I wanted a tangible thing that I could point to and say, here's the collectiveness, here's the group side of things, here's the ambassador thing that's going on. Because we have it already. We've had it for the last sort of 12 months. Is my connection bad? But I just wanted to formalize it by making an ambassador group.